Good evening.
Good evening, Master Kirael.
This is going to serve a little bit of what we're trying to see to all of you. This beautiful mountain shining upon you in the middle of a desert that most people just look at as a red stone. But you got to be aware, it's more than just a red stone. It's Uluru, the gathering place. But understand this thing. This may be the spiritual capital of the world. And understand this, because, my friend, I've said this, doesn't make it so. What makes it so is the feeling that you get from this place. And I want to tell you this. If you want to come over here, you come over here and you get tucked away in one of these hotels around here or whatever, and you're ready to go up there, and you drive up there, and you see this thing come up out of the sky, up to the earth plane, and you see it get larger and larger as you drive up closer to it. And then you understand why I've said this. You know this place they call Sedona, Arizona? That's a beautiful place. Beautiful. The Bell Rocks and the cathedral and the Boynton Canyon. So many places to go. But if you really want to come out here, and yeah, you might have to travel a little bit longer to get over here. But I can tell you this thing. This is the Mecca of all spiritual places. All the spiritual places you're going to go to, they've all got beautiful journeys, and you got to be aware of them. But this one over here, you don't have to be aware of nothing. This one reaches out and hugs you when you get close to it. And you can't walk up on the mountaintop. You can't walk up on the top of this project and look down. You just want to look up at it, because that's all. It's so perfect. You feel your heart open up so brightly and so profoundly. But understand this thing, lads and lasses. This is Uluru. Uluru, the gathering place for humankind. And I'll tell you this thing. For those that are looking for terrestrial beings, what you call extraterrestrials, or the flying crafts, you look up in the sky, you'll see them up there. They're just flying about over here. And you say, I couldn't see them, Master Kirael. When you come over here, you won't say it much longer, because understand this thing. There's things all around this mountain over here. There's another mountain just down this to the other side of it. It's so empowering. But I'll leave this up to you if you ever want to come over here. Because I'll tell you this thing, my friend. It will touch your heart deeply. I told the silver wings of light and the beautiful people, I wanted to tell you as well. Even if you were participating from the United States, or from Russia, or Japan, or Taiwan, wherever you was participating from, and I know you was all out there, you had to know how empowered it felt just to be participating. And I tell you this thing, my friend, if you've never participated in anything like this before, how did it happen? Because you want it to happen. And that's the key with Uluru. If you want it, it's right there for you. And you don't have to worry about it. It's just going to happen for you. And I got to tell you this thing, my friend. My medium tells me this fella, Chris, was traveling with him. And he talked about how his face changed and how his body stood more erect. And I gotta tell you this thing, my friend. His body is stronger than it's ever been. And why? Because he believed that it could be. He just did the signature cell healing with my medium. But understand this thing. This was the culmination of culminations to come through this journey to signature cell healing, and then come out here in the middle of the desert. And and you just drive up the street over here, and you all of a sudden you're looking up, and there it is before you, this magical place called Uluru, the spiritualist gathering place. But understand it, my friend. Your people over here are so touched by this whole process. You got your Aborigines, and the Aborigines are beautiful people. They've had a hard life, because they're hunter-gatherers, and that's all they will ever be. And understand this thing. It's not a bad life. They don't understand your life the way you want to understand it, but you can understand their life because you'd like to be like them, right? Because you all want to be not a hunter-gatherer, but you really want to feel your heart and your love and come up from you, and that you'll always know it's inside of you. You don't ever have to go into this film or anything, but if you go in there and you see this mountain coming up out of the desert floor, then you'll feel it. And that's the key right there. I can tell you this thing, my friends, it's life-altering for most people that went over here, because when we meet him, he's tried to tell all the things he wanted to tell you, but he can't get his words wrapped around it much better than anybody else. I can tell you this because I saw these crafts in the sky, and then I saw this armada of Palladians and Andromedas and Syrians flying over this process. And they didn't look up the sky to see it. They didn't have to. They could feel it. Now, that's what I said. Palladians, Andromedas, Syrians, they was all over here. But understand this thing. It was the people on the ground that walked up and placed their hands on this rock. And they could tell it because it changed. After this hook removal by silver wings of light, the pyramid of crystal came up closer to the surface, and the magnetic structure changed right there. And now, when you get close to this mark, you feel, oh, I'm breathing funny. And when you get up close to this rock and you're feeling you're breathing funny, that's because you're up close to that rock. And understand, I shouldn't even call it a rock. It's a pyramid of love and light. But I want to tell you this, my friends. This movie will be on this website for as long as it's a website, because I want people to come in here and I want to experience. And I want you to, I'm going to show you a picture right about now. And I want you to see what we saw when we drove over this little mound and we saw it looming up out of the desert floor. And you'll see the power of this whole process. And that's what I want you to remember. I'm going to show you a few of the pictures along the way. And you got to believe. The medium's pointing up this thing, pointing up that thing. But understand this thing, lads and lads. This is Uluru, the spiritual capital of the world. And it won't get any better than that. So, I want to tell you this. From my heart to yours, I like to say, Mahalo Nui Loa. From Uluru in love. Good evening.